Hey, my name's Gloria.
I'm Anthony.
And we're at a private community out here in the high desert of Mojave County, and we're excited to show you our tiny house. So let's go check it out. All right, so right when we walk in, we have this entryway table, which also is all the storage for all of our shoes. So you just like pop it right open, and we got all the storage down there for everything. And then it also has, you know, some of our decor stuff, diffuser. It's kind of like a cool like entryway into the space. All right, so this is our like wardrobe slash like storage area. So we have all of our books here. We have like some storage bins down to below with like all my makeup stuff, like jackets, beanies, things like that. So this is my side, and then Anthony's side is over there. And then this is my dresser and his dresser. So we try and fit all the clothes that we can inside of here. I would say that he has a little bit more space under the couches over there, which I'll show you for his things, but it's debatable. So yeah, this is basically like my makeup space also, where I get ready, and you know, some more decor and fun stuff. So over here is like Anthony's side. We have like our dirty laundry, like a little shelf thing where we can kind of put like diddly stuff like keys and things like that, and then all my jewelry storage area. So when we started downsizing, we were in like a 2,500 square foot house, and we moved into an 18-foot trailer. So that was like the beginning of us downsizing. And so from then to here, this is actually like a lot more storage. But one of the biggest things that we did when we were like downsizing all of our clothes was keep things seasonal. So we would have extra boxes of stuff in other places for like all of our winter gear, and then we had all of our spaces for storage for like the seasonal wear that we would have. So one of the biggest things that I think about whenever I'm designing a space is where I can put stuff that I just don't want somewhere but doesn't really feel like it has a space. So always like planning for extra spaces. You can have storage where you can't see it. So like these bins down here where it's like I can put whatever I want in there, you don't know what it is. So it's like my secret organizing tip. So Anthony and I met through some mutual friends, and from the beginning of us like being friends, we always knew that we wanted to do something like incorporating community into our life, and we were thinking of actually starting a community house together when we were just friends. And fast forward, you know, we started dating. I had parked my shuttle bus at his house, and that's kind of how we started to get to know each other more. He has been there like the whole time watching my business grow and supporting me, and vice versa. And there was just a point the last year when like COVID started, when we were just like, what do we really want to do with our lives? Like what really inspires us and makes us feel like we're living our best life? Like we really just thought a lot about what that was. And for us, it was creating more like freedom and sovereignty for ourselves. And for us, that meant ownership and owning land and creating a space where we can have like a long-term place for ourselves and our family and even some friends.
Yeah, totally. And especially with the COVID thing and the whole starting of the pandemic, it just really caused us to check ourselves and ask ourselves what we really want, because we realized the house we were renting from, we didn't own it. So, you know, things got a little crazy for a second. You know, they could kick us out, and then it's their house. And we have, you know, so that really raised a lot of questions and got us thinking seriously. So yeah, then we moved out of California to Texas, stayed there for 9 months in a 18-foot RV on raw land.
Learned a lot about.
Yeah, you learn. You know, it'll definitely strengthen your relationship. It's a make or breaker for sure. Beautiful journey and experience. But then we moved from Texas to Arizona. So we're just been in, you know, the past couple of years have just been creating the reality that we want, creating the freedom and sovereignty in the middle of a pandemic. Like can that be done? Yes, it can, for sure.
So I want to talk like a little bit about some of the design for the space, because there were two things that I took that inspiration from. It was these mirrors and this piece of art. So everything kind of started there when it came to like creating a cohesive design. So you can see like the sheets that I use and the pillows and everything kind of went along with that. And then my next thought was, how can I maximize on space And, raising these beds up and putting storage under there was a great solution. And then on top of that, how do you make it look good? So having these bins that make it look really cohesive and nice and it all makes sense really helped. Having extra totes where you can store things in smaller places is really important when it comes to organizing and trying to find the best use of your space. So honestly, the front of this all looks nice, but the back I just kind of shove extra stuff under. And this is kind of the same, but there's a lot of space under here where we didn't know where else to put things. And then as soon as we raised them up, we found a lot more storage opportunities. The painting is an original by my good friend Elijah Green. It's really incredible and it really inspired so much of this space. So really grateful that he let us use it in here. So one of the biggest things that we do and that we use this space for is this projector up here. So it broadcasts onto this wall. We cover up the window with a sheet and have a movie-sized theater, which is really great. Pair that with one of these speakers and it feels like you're in a theater. So that's one of our favorite things to do here. We also use it as our secondary sleeping area when we don't want to climb up into our loft because sometimes that's just a pain. It's also an extra guest area and it's also a really comfy and affordable couch. So the way that we got here was one of our friends introduced us to the people here that own the land, and we were doing some similar things, developing land, and we thought we should come and check it out, and we basically fell in love when we got here. And so the way that they are developing the space is essentially starting with this tiny home model where these cabins are acquired for a really affordable price. You just put your first month's payment down and then they're built out. And this is kind of the quick pop-up model for community to get things started. There's a lot bigger long-term version for the land here that's going to be really exciting and beautiful and incredible. And this is how they're getting things started, which I was really attracted to because there's so much development here already, and it was just so awesome to be able to step into a place where there was already a lot of things set up that we could use to thrive, essentially. I think the thing that I love too about living in the tiny camper together on the land, we were almost completely off grid, literally peeing and pooping in the woods every day and sharing the space so intimately, on different phone calls, and just it was a lot of we're up in each other's business all the time. And what I feel made us able to get through that was staying in really good communication about everything. Always trying to be proactive about communicating our needs or our wants or our dislikes as vulnerable and as often as we could, because then we were able to take space, whether it be you go take your phone call in the car for an hour, or I go on a run for an hour, or we start going to the gym to take more space from each other. So it was partly communication, and then the other part finding ways to have our own space where we don't always have to be entertaining each other, or mainly entertaining each other, because that's what a lot of it is having conversation and feeling you have to talk all the time, and having space, or even just creating a bubble in our tiny space.
Totally, and you get good just being silent for long periods of time together, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We're just being in our own space. But yeah, I would say communication, and definitely just having the belief that it's possible to achieve the life that we want to live, which is freedom, sovereignty, those things.
And knowing that everything we learned in that process is a big part of having all those things that we want. Is our if our relationship is strong, then we can do anything together. So when I was designing the space, I really wanted to have a large office area to not only work but also to make music. It's one of my hobbies, and so this space I really dedicated to mostly that. It's really fun. I wanted something that had storage in it, so these are cool. I wanted to kind of incorporate a futuristic vibe, and these are high gloss, and you kind of push it and then it pops out, so it just feels really luxurious and futuristic to me. And got the speaker set up, and then over here is my coffee area, coffee, tea, drink, slash supplement type stuff. So we make coffee or tea in the morning here, and also have storage for all of our cups and coffees and teas and snacks and food and all that kind of stuff. So since the kitchen and bathroom is in different buildings from here, we didn't really need to dedicate a lot of the space to a bathroom or a kitchen, which was really nice. But I did want to have something where I could like have coffee and stuff in my own space in the mornings. So if you were just like seeing this happening and you were wondering like how could you do something like this, the first thing I would look into is land development, because that's going to be the easiest way to get your foot in the door to like creating something like this you can own. I guess the only other option I can think of would be like renting a space, but you're not really guaranteed like a long-term spot there. So I would look into finding some affordable land nearby, because that is still the easiest way to get into the marketplace to create a small space like this, an affordable space that gives you more freedom and more sovereignty. Thank you so much for watching our tour. If you want to follow along on our journey, my personal Instagram is @SovereignLifeWithGlow, and you can see everything we've been up to and where we're headed.
And you can follow me at home_music. Home is spelled HOHM_music. Thank you.